Women achieved absolutely nothing in the past 100 years. We had to buy our freedom and independence. We didn't achieve it. We didn't achieve it. Boys didn't give us. We had to buy it. That was the conclusion of my debate with my best friend last year, and I'm going to tell you the story. We went head to head on this topic. We have completely opposing views on this, and we debated it out, and that was the conclusion that we both agreed on. And since it's International Women's Day, I wanted to talk about this topic. I was contemplating whether or not to make this video, but you know what? I would like you guys, men and women, to think about these issues very differently. We have plenty of issues, and that's okay. But I would like the male population to know, first of all, that whatever is happening at corporate levels, and the women I know, they don't associate themselves with the current modern feminist movement. Same as me. I cannot stand feminism. I stay away from every narrative, agenda, social, activities that has women in it. And that's not because I'm against women. I will never be against women. I support women all the way. But it's been twisted and turned so many times that there are more areas that I disagree with than I agree with. So I cannot be part of it. So I just say, you guys go and do it. So let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I talk about everything and anything related to HR, companies, and anything that is related to us, really, people in organizations. So hit the subscribe button and follow me. Thank you so much. I reached 800 subscribers. I know it's nothing, but for me, it's a good number. So let's go back to the story. Get a cup of tea, because that's a really good story. So did you hear, or were you following last year on TikTok, the 50-50 trend? This was the best trend in 2024, because that highlighted the discrepancies and I think it opened many women's eyes. Now let's dive into it. So the trend started with women who are staying at home, looking after the family, and the man is providing. They go to the man and say, their husbands or partners, hey, I cannot pay half of the rent, my part of the rent this month. And then the men are like confused. When was the last time you paid the rent, right? And it was such a great trend, because it opened the eyes of many women that, hey, there are men out there like that. And then the trend turned around. So those women who are on 50-50 base with men, and I have a very strong opinion about that, they went to their partners saying that, hey, this month I cannot pay half of the rent, my part of the rent, because whatever. The reception to that by men was absolutely shocking. Now, I'm not saying all men, okay? Don't come after me. I'm not generalizing. There was this one guy who said to the partner, to the girl, to the woman, or wife, I don't even know, they were very young, oh, can you just not pick up an extra shift during the weekend? Because, I resigned from my job, and, now I'm figuring my life out. And I was watching the video. I'm like, dude, you don't know how fast I can pack bags. Like, you would be out that door so quickly, you wouldn't even have the time to blink twice. And I think this trend triggered something in women, but it certainly triggered my best friend and I to have a debate. So her view is that, so she is a very strong, independent woman. She has a husband and a child and all that. She has a company, and she is 50-50. And I am on that side. Once again, I am an independent woman, a single woman. I have 2 properties. I never ask for anybody for any money. I work for everything that I have. I don't have children. But I always said that if you are coming into my life, I would like to be treated as a woman. And not because I want to take your money, but because, especially if I had a child, if I have to take on one more extra full-time job, raising that child, plus go to work, that's very unequal. I'm not doing that. So, and I'm happy to, balance that out. And so we went back and forth why it is not working. And she said, they will always control us as long as they pay, they provide. And I'm like, okay, but does that mean that we achieved absolutely nothing? Because we had to buy what we have, the freedom, our voices, our, independence? Because this is what it sounds like. As long as they provide, they are the bosses. And she would never tolerate that. I would never tolerate that. But what I noticed, and I tried to tell her, in those videos where the man is paying, he is the provider, and the wife is the housewife, stay-at-home mom or just wife, doesn't matter. What we wanted to, in those videos, you could clearly see that there is no bosses. Despite the fact that the man is the provider, he will not he has no control over her, and the power is balanced out. And I think this is what we were looking for when we started, not when we started the feminists, I will go there too, but maybe this is what we should be aiming for today, right? Not that I did this or that, because then we literally achieved nothing. So, and we settled on that. And she said, yeah, maybe we didn't. I'm like, where does it leave us? Then now we have to work, and now the sexes are separated because we don't want your control, and boys can only provide if they have the control over us, or they can be the bosses, or they are the decision makers. I'm like, that's not the power balance I would like to have. You come into my house, you pay for the bills, and we balance the power out. It doesn't mean you are my boss or, the almighty. So that's something to think about. And also, this argument is supported by so many comments on TikTok videos where the men said, if I'm the provider, I will be the boss. Or I will not protect you if I cannot be, the head of the household and be the decision maker. I'm like, okay. That's not how I see men and women working together. Now, let's go to feminism. What's the original, and that I support, the original definition of feminism, and I will always support that, is the freedom or social, economical, political, and personal freedom of women. And I will always support, here I don't want to convince you any way, I will always support women and men can do whatever they want. For me, this is feminism. Feminism is equal opportunity. What we wanted, the suffragettes, and even before in the United States, women started that before the suffragettes, I forgot the names, the movement, that, hey, can we have our equal legal right? Can we have our voice? Can we have right to our own children? Because we know that suffragettes really kicked off because they didn't even have right to their own kids, and the father could decide to adopt that child, and the mother would never see him or her. So this is what we wanted, right? And I think we have that. But now the balance is shifted. The power is tipped. We created an imbalance, and I don't think we wanted to do that. And now just the latest Ipsos survey came out in the UK, and another data as well, that 50% of men think that they are discriminated because they are men. And you know what? I cannot disagree with it. And the reason I stay away from all of these female and women empowerment and whatever narrative is manifold. It's so many reasons. But one is because I don't like one being overpowered. And I will say that men are discriminated today because women are being pushed. And I don't think it's the right way of doing. We have so many data that with this imbalance, that we are really bullying the boys. The men are so scared of working with us. We also have data that women prefer working with men. We have so many data around this, which just don't add up to what you are hearing from social media and corporations, or add up to. And I always say, don't listen to social media, because whatever you hear is not the representation of the normal, everyday working women, okay? Because I have seen in corporation firsthand when we were told, no, you need to find women for these roles. I have witnessed conversation in corporations when we were told that, you know what, we don't really care, we have a quota, so you just have to do that. So you are discriminating, and these were the points where I said, I don't want to be part of it, because now, yes, we are discriminating against the boys, but it's just so unethical and it's so wrong. So I don't want to be anywhere near any kind of female narrative. Now, do I understand why they are doing it? Absolutely, because you need to have role models there, right? You need to push certain agendas, sometimes that is really drastic, and we don't agree. So then you can bring it back to balance, which I hope that is what's coming next, right? So I understand every side, but men, what it did to men and boys, and I'm going to close this video with that. Boys, I'm not sorry for you, but I understand your predicament. So at corporate levels is a shit show, at government levels is a shit show what we are doing, and there are so many different parts to, how women are being treated. A latest study just came out of statistics in the UK once again, I just heard it 2 days ago, that domestic violence against women in the past 2 or 3 decades they looked at hasn't changed. So things are not changing. We haven't achieved anything. Once again, we both have a freedom, but the consequences is that now everybody is single, because that was not the purpose. The purpose was to figure out how we can maintain masculinity, femininity, work together without one overpowering the other. But no, we created an environment where both sexes must work because of the economy, otherwise they can't survive. So women are being taken out of the household, etc., created a massive issue with kids and all that, which watch Stephen Bartlett's latest episode with this lady who is talking about childcare and all that. It's fantastic. It shows you the whole journey, how it all went wrong, and we studied that at university. That the graphs of women entering the workforce, ADHD, antisocial behavior, prisoner, blah, 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 all go hand in hand. You removed the woman, you will remove supervision from the house. And so I think the narrative has to switch, because now the boys are not, we created an imbalance, and I don't think that's what we wanted to create. And now the next topic is that women are turning into this whinging, moaning, whining somebody. Now here is the thing, underdogs never complain. And while we were underdogs, we just kept quiet and we did what we had to do to overcome the hurdles. And now all you hear is whinging and moaning and whining. And women who get upset over and offended by everything. No, lovelies, you cannot get upset just because somebody tells you that if you are not having children, the rate of breast cancer, the likelihood of breast cancer goes up by 6%. I don't know, I can't remember, or 6 times. No, and then you get upset, blah, blah, blah. Nobody is telling you to have kids. But we get upset with the most common sense things and with statistics. You cannot get upset just because somebody is telling you that, maybe if you don't have children, you might miss out something very important of your life. I don't have children, I never wanted, but I think there is nothing more beautiful than growing that child, bringing it to the world, and nurturing and bringing him or her up. I don't think there is anything more beautiful in this world. And if you say that, no, I'm not missing anything, you are lying to yourself. Because clearly you are missing something. You are not going through that experience. Even if you never been to Starbucks in your life, you are missing out. That's an experience. Just an example. So you cannot say that, you cannot get upset, because that might be. I remember 5 years ago or so, the Professor Jordan Peterson said something that, hey, if you are not having kids, you reach the age of 50 or 40 or whatever, and you all of a sudden realize that your life is empty. And I got like, I'm like, no. I got very, triggered by it. And then a few years later, I was having a conversation with my clinical psychologist friend. I'm like, hey, is this what Peterson was saying? I'm like, I feel that, something is missing. But it wasn't. I figured it out after that. But maybe it is. You don't actually know. And there are different people, right? Not everybody wants to have kids. Some people can live a fulfilled life without kids. But it doesn't mean that you are not missing an experience out of your life, because that is an experience. So we don't need to get upset by everything. And one more thing on women. Why men don't like to work with us? Because we lost our ability, because now everybody is separated, right? We lost our ability to handle men and boys. Boys will be boys. They will make inappropriate comments and all that. But when a mature feminine energy meets a mature masculine energy, she knows how to manage that. And I don't know why we want men to stop being men. Now, I'm not supporting their nonsense behavior, okay? And I had to put a stop to it so many times in my life. But I don't see it as a problem. I see it as, it's gonna come, because these are boys. So yes, they are going to make inappropriate comments, but you don't need to get triggered and upset and end up triggered by everything and end up in hate chat. And, oh, Steve doesn't making harassment claims and all that. Handle them, because that's how we learn about each other. Because if you don't know how to handle people, all you're gonna go around is all you're gonna do is going around getting upset and offended by everything. But it's not on them. It's actually you, because you don't know how to handle these social interactions. Trust me, men can be handled, even if they are just terrible. Now, once again, I don't excuse their behavior sometimes, but they are boys. And you know what? If they are flirting, it's a natural behavior. I cannot even be upset with them, because if you don't flirt, how are you going to find the partner? How are you going to find out who is receptive to your approaching that person? Can we just think logically and stop being offended by everything and leave these boys alone? Now, the last one is for the boys. Are you ready? Because I'm about to write an article, which is the third part of the first two. I'm going to put these first two articles, which upset many men, below in the comment field. Read it. And yes, you will get upset about it. But what I wanted to say to men is this. All I see is now both sexes turning into this moaning and whinging and whining. Women are still complaining, they want more rights. Like, you have enough rights, just exercise them and just quiet, okay? Now, I'm not saying we are not I don't like this word. We are not having difficult times in certain areas of the world. I'm not saying we are not having difficult times in certain aspects, but overall, get on with life, okay? But the boys also turned into this moaning and whinging and whining population. Because what happened, and you guys will not like it, from cradle to the grave, women took care of you, okay? Your mother handed us over to us, and then we kept washing your underwear, feeding you, cleaning you, and all that. And now women said, I'm not doing it, for whatever reason. And now you are having a mental health issues. You are having mental health issues and you know, all the sort of breakdown, and you are complaining. And you guys are behaving like girls, because when I posted something not even related to men or anything, men came into the comment field. How about men? Like, how about men? How about men? How about you behave like women when they were underdogs and they did not go around asking for our women? We fought for our rights, we educated ourselves, we pushed through hardships quietly. Did we go and demand men to help us? No. We went, we formed communities, we helped each other. We went to the government, we lobbied for women. So now, because boys, you have to do the same, because all I'm hearing is boys are asking women to help. Now here is the thing, that's from me. I'm not speaking for others. Women are not coming, I'm not coming, I'm not helping. Okay? I want to be seen as equal and above, because the title of the two articles is that men are the baseline for women, and men are currently below all of these matrices in terms of life expectancy, health, wealth, etc., education. We have beat your asses, guys, and you didn't even notice us because you looked down on us. You thought, these are just the girls. Well, we showed our power. We also show our power by the declining birth rate. Who has the power? We can end the entire population in 50 years. And you know what? The crazy politicians, which I started to see, to impact that, because women said, I'm not doing it because men are not up for the job. So last year, South Korea wanted to bring in some nonsense legislation that they're gonna remove women's uterus at the age of 30 if they're not having kids, or something like outrageous. This year, Japan, this week I saw, I think, that they are introducing, if you are not married and have kids by the age of, I can't remember now, because I was just like, what? Then you lose your job. And I'm not joking when I say I can see that women will be forced to breed at some point. So we're going to go back to the original setup, because at the moment, but it's not that we need to force women, we need to bring up men, because men are just slipped behind and they are crying and moaning and complaining. Boys, nobody is coming. You're gonna have to group like women did, right? And help yourself each other. Help each other. Help each other out of this ditch, because at the moment, women want nothing to do with you, and you cannot blame us. We figured it out. Now it's your turn. And I'm not saying it was nice or fair, but what this is what it shows. If government puts and corporations all the effort to push a certain demographic, this is what it means. So maybe it's now time to bring up the men at government and corporate levels and the boys, right? So you go and get it. You go and get the job done and come back, but let's not play this game of race. Now, okay, the boys go ahead and then the girls, and no, let's just equal. Let's just figure out how we supposed to coexist together, so we don't end up with, I have to buy my freedom. Otherwise, if I don't pay my fair share, you are going to be the boss, the decision maker. You are going to be the head of the household. That's not what we want. And I don't think anybody wants that. And as for the protectors, you guys, who are you protecting us from? Other men? So maybe talk to each other. So that role, it's redundant, and all you have to do is provide, but you can't even do that. So boys, don't ask women to help you. Don't make stupid comments on LinkedIn on Women's Day. How about Men's Day? This is so petty. And you think that we would actually find that attractive. So no, women never ask men to celebrate them on Women's Day. Okay, we created our day. And we went and we celebrate each other. Who is organizing this Women's Day? Women. Who is decorating the room? Women. So if you want to be celebrated, if you want to address your issues, come together, organize it for yourself, because that I fully support. But I'm not going to come to the rescue, because nobody come to women's rescue. I mean, men. We had to fight for it, and we went for it. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and my cat is going crazy. So have we achieved anything? I don't know. I really don't know. But I want you to think about that and read the articles below. Thank you.